Good morning, good day. This is your girl, Dr. Tay, here with another morning message. So first and foremost, episode number 2 of Things My Boss Never Told Me will be available this Wednesday, October 6th in the morning. So please make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Podcast. It will be there. So for this one, the topic is it's called The Subtle Differences. And it's basically exploring the concept of the differences between leadership and management and everything in between. So make sure you check it out, okay? So for this morning, I want to talk about just something that, that's been interesting for me as I, continue on my journey of my own personal and professional growth. So something that I recently started doing, like maybe the last, 2 or 3 weeks, is journaling. And I can't remember if journaling was something that I did when I was younger. Like, I kind of remember having a diary, but I also kind of remember it having a lot of empty pages. So this concept of journaling, I guess, is still somewhat foreign to me. But what I'm finding to be helpful is, like, I have these little cards and they have questions on them. And so my goal is to answer one of these questions a day and then just write out my responses. And I try to keep the rule of whatever card I pull is the question I have to answer. Like, I don't necessarily want to try to avoid any topics because this is just for me. Like, I'm the only one reading it, right? Ideally. But sometimes if it's a question I'm not particularly interested in, like, okay, it's only happened once. I put a card back. All right. So I put it out there. All right. Now you know my secret. One time I put a card back. But beyond that, I've just been, getting a different card each day and, taking the time to write out my responses. And the one that I had today was really interesting. The question was, what would you tell your younger self? No, if you can go back 10 years ago, what would you tell your younger self? Yeah, like if you can go back 10 years, what would you tell your younger self? And it's funny because I feel like this was a question either like maybe my friends or someone was talking about recently of like, if they could, go back 10 years, what would they, tell themselves? And they talked about, I would, talk about Tesla and investing in stock and all of this stuff. And, while that may be, cool and all, I guess my thinking is, would I really want to do something that would change the trajectory in terms of where I am now, right? So let's say if I did say, hey, invest in this stock called Amazon, right? How would that change who I am today? How would that change my lessons, the people that I've interacted with, where I am right now, personally, professionally, spiritually? Like, how would that be impacted by that decision? If I decided to, invest in something and now have this, extra money that I can do whatever with. Now, don't get me wrong, having more money would be great, right? But not at the expense of my becoming, right? So I am so grateful for the person that I am right now and the person that I am developing into. Like, granted, I don't know who she is yet, but I kind of like her right now, so I'm hoping we continue going this this lovely path. And I wouldn't want to do anything that would impede on that. Like, I wouldn't want to do anything that could change who I am at my core. No, I guess it would necessarily change who I am at my core, but it would change like just my outlook on things. Like, I don't think I would have developed my spiritual practices if I had a bunch of money right now. I don't think I would I certainly probably would have quit the job that I had and done something different. But, maybe I wouldn't have started to pursue my doctorate, or, maybe I wouldn't be, around the people that I am now. Like, those are things that I worry about if I had that kind of knowledge. And so I guess my answer to that question today was, I would tell myself that it gets better. Like, yeah, stocks and, having extra money, that's all fine and dandy. But I think the thing that would be most helpful to me, you know, at my most helpful to my 24-year-old version of myself, the most important thing would be to know that it gets better. Because I think at 24, there was just all of this anxiety about, you know, how life should look and where I should be and what I should be doing and all this stuff. Like, I was just kind of stressing myself out about a bunch of things that I don't even worry about today. And I think my 24-year-old self would appreciate knowing that it gets better and that I get better and that I eventually find a space and a place where I feel comfortable, I feel authentic, I feel like I can share myself in a way that is truthful and clear, and that I'm living in a place of integrity and authenticity at the end of the day. Like, that's the thing that to me would be the most important. And so again, while having, you know, money would be nice, of course, who wouldn't want to have, you know, extra money, you know, because of an investment that they made, but not at the expense of my becoming. So my question for you is, what would you tell your younger self? Like, if you can go back 10 years, what would you tell your younger self, you know, 10 years younger than what you are now, about the future, and how would that, you know, impact who you're becoming? All right, so thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.